basically all throughout one's body. And there are what are called, by the way, different things that allow one to get the tingly sensations in ASMR, and they're called triggers. And some triggers are sights, gestures, and movements. Very popular is, of course, the oral sound. There's also touching of the ears, like so. I've read in many forums that some people get massive amounts of tingles and others rarely, if ever, have them. And that sparked my interest, and I thought, that's interesting. How is that possible? I, for one, am a bit of a tingle fiend. I get them really easily. I'm not sure why, really, but many, many things trigger this tingly sensation in me, and I wanted to begin to draw a line between what I think that is to notions of mindfulness. So, if I think at first, right, we have mindfulness and we have ASMR, um, what can help me make a bridge between the two is that I don't know except for the possibility of relaxation. So, if that's true, then I think now we have a common denominator to begin to talk about these two together. So, um, I'm first and foremost a mindfulness practitioner. I've been doing it for about 20 years. I'm a certified instructor and teacher as well. So what's happening with, I feel, with the within ASMR is we are doing what I would consider quite an advanced practice here. We are focusing on a sense perception or a couple sense perceptions at a time, and we're recognizing that there's something kind of whole within that process, something wholesome, something relaxing, something that will allow us to simply let go, come back to the moment, and relax. So, within that experience, one may find that there's not too much concept happening. So, quite simply, when we focus on a sense perception, truly, we let go of concept, and the after effect or the aftertaste of that is relaxation. So, what mindfulness does is it simply recognizes that, acknowledges that, and it strengthens this ability to be able to focus more precisely. And at the same time, when one engages in a mindfulness practice, we're constantly coming back from hopes, coming back from fears, coming back from things that have happened in the past, and zen out, for instance. You know, we throw these words around all over the place, all over the yeah. Let me meditate on that. Um, but what do these words really mean? Um, so I would like to give a jab at trying to define some of these terms according to my experience, and let me know if it rings true for you. So the first one, and the obvious one, is what is mindfulness? So mindfulness is simply being here right now without having to do anything with it, with this moment right here. So without taking this moment and needing to push it away or wanting more of it or ignoring it. So that's simply what mindfulness is. The simple history behind it is it comes back about maybe 2,500 years ago to the historical Buddha. He kind of coined that term in a sense. But other than that, one doesn't need to have any kind of religious affiliation. Um, I myself, I bring these concepts of mindfulness into tech corporations, for instance. So, and I have seen that it affects anybody and everybody. So, Next, one could have what's called a singing bowl. I'll demonstrate. And it often comes with a wooden stick. And we can just strike it. The stick itself is quite elegant, actually, and very, very ASMR conducive. We have different types of incense. These are kind of woodsy, kind of earthy, and these might be Tibetan incense. They have a sound as well. Here are some Japanese kind of incense, and the whole point behind, for instance, incense is, we're not trying to be exotic. We're trying to remind ourselves that this is an important kind of an endeavor to do. So, incense, when we smell incense, on one hand, it could remind us that, when we're practicing, that it is something special, something that we don't do all the time, something meaningful. So it can help us remind ourselves of that. And then, if you take a stick and you break it in half, then half a stick could be about 15 minutes, so one could even use it kind of as a natural clock when they're sitting. So you don't have to keep on, checking your watch. At least that's how they probably did it in the old days. So that's the incense. The singing bowl that I had, again, here, is, again, it's sort